So when I say show, don't tell, I mean, you've got to be able to break down the information you're sharing in a way that's both accessible and adaptable. Usually when I'm working with teams and leaders on cultivating this skill, I'm trying to get them to go from giving me an abstract report or summary to giving me a concrete example, to walking me through a case study of how what they do or how their service works shows up in real life or in real client experiences. And if they don't have a relevant case study, then I try to get them to tell me a story. So just to give you an example of this, just the other week I was working with a software security company. I work with lots of tech companies, and we were talking through this new feature that they offer as part of their product suite, which is all about anti-phishing. And that's phishing with a PH, not like fishing. And when one of the team leads started to talk me through how this feature works, as if they were talking a prospective client through it, they started to tell me this sort of abstract story. They were on the right track of how when someone receives an email within an organization and the email seems suspicious, they'll get this particular alert that only shows up when they're responding. And they started to tell me a story, but the story didn't really come to life. So instead I said, give me characters, right? Tell me that Sue is sitting at her desk when she gets an email from Tom that says, hey Sue, I'm on my way to the airport and I can't download this file. Will you download it for me? Sue, thinking that this looks like a normal email from Tom, goes to respond, but because the system detects that there's some fishy content going on, right? This attachment doesn't look quite right. The system will give Sue an alert saying, are you sure this email is coming from Tom? At that point, Sue has to do some mental math about whether or not it makes sense that it's coming from Tom, which will stop her in her track and prevent a big attack from, blowing up their whole system. So this is just a simple example, but just being able to give the story, the description, some characters, a scene that your brain can wrap itself around is so helpful regardless of the audience that you're communicating with, right? Now, I do want to acknowledge that sometimes if you were walking an audience of CISOs, right, chief security officers, through this particular feature, they might not need such a simple story, but that's the mental math you've got to do. How much showing do I got to do for this audience instead of telling? That's what I want you thinking about, all right? So use concrete examples, walk us through case studies, or come up with stories to bring your information to life.